When I was 15 years old, I got a message from my ex-girlfriend telling me that she wanted to meet me. This was quite out of the blue, but I decided to meet her anyway because we had had a relationship in the past during lockdown that was purely online, and I'd never had the opportunity to connect with this girl on a physical and real life basis. And so I saw this as an opportunity to do so, despite the fact I knew she was in a relationship. The person she was in a relationship to was a guy who went to my school, who was in my year, and who you could even say was, at some point, my friend. But I didn't feel bad about what I was doing. I didn't feel bad about it because I made rationalizations and justifications in my mind in order to allow me to be absolved of responsibility. But now looking back, I understand that I was partly responsible for this act of unfaithfulness. Now that I know what I know, it's impossible for me to accept that I had no responsibility. A lot of people like to think that if they're not in a relationship and somebody else is, then if they cheat with this person, then they're technically not cheating because I'm not in a relationship, so I'm innocent. But that's not true, because if you know that they are in a relationship, then you are committing adultery. You are being unfaithful. And you might not be being unfaithful to your partner, but you're being unfaithful to the partner of the person you were doing it with. That's the truth. And then you might say to that, why should I care about their partner? It's about me and this person, right? Yeah, it is, but there are wider implications and consequences of what you do, especially if the person you were doing these things with, the person you were engaging with romantically and intimately, is in a relationship. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you were them? This can help you realize that it is wrong for you to do this, that it is wrong for you to get with somebody who is in a relationship. It doesn't absolve you of responsibility because you have a choice. You know, you don't have to say yes, you don't have to do it, even if you like that person, even if you feel for them, even if you would like to be with them. The fact that they are in a relationship is reason enough for you to say no. And what that is, it is putting principles, values, and morals above feelings every time. And that's one tenet of masculinity that I always reiterate, but I don't think it truly can be said enough. You need to put your purpose, your mission, and your goals above how you feel in any given moment. This is super important. And I was guided by my feelings. I said to myself when she messaged me, "Oh, this is a surprise." As I said, it came quite unexpectedly, as we hadn't spoke for a while. And this presented itself to me as an opportunity to not only potentially reconnect with someone that I have liked in the past and someone who I still have some remnant of feelings toward, but also just an opportunity to connect with another human being, because we'd spent so much time in lockdown that I feel like we were all missing that aspect of our lives. Real life social interaction, real human connection. So I was just thinking about what I wanted. And I justified it by saying, well, she wants it too, and so she's being the unfaithful one. she's the one in the wrong, and I know she's doing wrong, but I'm going to let her anyway because I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. But by choosing to engage in that with her, I did something wrong. I wanted to make this video to tell you that if you're enticed or tempted by an opportunity quite like this, think twice before you take action. Think twice before you make a decision and a choice, because once you do something, you can't take it back. Always remember that. My dad likes to say, if you think you want to do something, see if you still want to do it tomorrow. Put it off, sleep on it, dwell on it. And sometimes time is all you need to change your perspective. Sometimes as time passes, what is immediate becomes what is long-term. What is expedient becomes what is meaningful. And what is full of feeling and impulse and instinct becomes what is full of purpose and meaning. And sometimes we just need more time to think about what we're going to do before we throw ourselves into it. Sometimes we think too much, but there is obviously a balance. But I didn't think much at all. I was led by how I felt in that moment, my desires, and what I wanted and what she wanted, but not what was right. And so, if you have an opportunity to be romantically involved with somebody who is in a relationship, you are not innocent if you do that. You are not free of wrongdoing if you go ahead with it. You have to take some responsibility for the unfaithfulness at play. And yeah, you can rationalize it to yourself by saying, oh, well, this girl's a cheater anyway. If it wasn't me, she'd be cheating on him with someone else, but it was you though, wasn't it? So don't use that as an excuse. You always have control over what you do. Remember that. You don't have control over other people, but you control what you do. That's very important to remember. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on here and talk about this experience of mine because I think it's interesting to reflect on. I think it's interesting to see the change in my perspective in regards to how I acted then compared to how I would act now. Even if I was interested in somebody and I actually really liked them and I had deep feelings for them, if they were in a relationship, that means to me that they are unavailable. You know, there's no wiggle room. There's no ifs or buts. They are simply unavailable. And there's plenty of other people out there that are not. And so why are you choosing to pursue what is unavailable? Why are you doing that? And yeah, I really did like this girl. I really was very attracted by her. I really did want to rekindle a relationship with her. But why did I think that was possible when she was in a relationship? I was deluding myself, I really was, when I look back. I was like, I can make this work, we can make this work, this is okay, I'm not doing anything wrong. All lies, all delusions. How much of our thoughts are deluded? It's impossible to know, but I'd assume that it's a large majority of them. A lot of our thoughts are irrational. And that's why the more we think about things, the more we allow logic and reason to take over and to intervene and to stop us from potentially doing something really bad. If you don't give time for that to happen, then you are going to be led by how you feel in the moment, by your desires, by your impulses, by what's pleasurable or whatever. You're not going to be led by principles, values, and morals. It's as simple as that. But the main message of today's video is obviously that if you go into a romantic relationship or romantic involvement with somebody who is in a relationship, you are not free of wrongdoing. You have some responsibility and you have to atone for what you have done. Because the truth is, you wouldn't want your partner doing that to you, and you know it would be wrong if you did that to your partner. And so by enabling this person that you're doing it with to do that to their partner, really, you're just as guilty as them. And immature men, they run away from responsibility. They see it as a burden. They see it as too heavy to bear. But real men take responsibility upon their shoulders voluntarily, because they know it is what is going to make them better, stronger, wiser, and live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Virtue is the only thing worth pursuing. And virtue is wisdom, courage, discipline, and justice. And if you're guided by those things in life, you can't go far wrong. But if you're always guided based on how you feel in the moment, based on your rationalizations and justifications for what you're doing, based on pleasure and immediate gratification and avoidance of responsibility, you will enter sin. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and I hope it was able to help you. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.